Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Whoever you are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, Keith here from Commander Hoops with Gaz of a Celtic appreciation page. So, Gaz, I wouldn't say happy Friday. Bit of a strange Friday we're going, especially going into the weekend after international football, coming off a derby defeat. What is going on at Celtic Football Club?
I think, honestly, mate, as you say, it's been a really good international break, especially for us, for Scotland, and with the win during the weekend. I was really looking forward to the Ross County game, getting back to hopefully winning ways after the defeat to Rangers last time round, and this bombshell that has dropped from absolutely nowhere. It's obviously speculation at this moment in time. All we're hearing. I listened to the Scottish News tonight. All we're hearing that it's for personal reasons. Reading a wee bit into it, that if you look at the statement, I think it was Ian Bankier that wished Dom and his family very well for the future. I know a lot of rumours are kicking about his wife, and maybe she's ill, maybe she's not well. Obviously, nothing's confirmed, but he's obviously deactivated his social medias as well, his social media channels as well. So, listen, we all obviously wish him well, and whatever it is that's wrong. But as I say, listen, it's speculation at the moment. I know a lot of chat about Peter Lawwell in the background as well, but I don't think we'll ever know until Celtic come out and actually. I don't think Celtic will come out and tell us. I think Celtic will just come out and appoint a new CEO.
It looks like they have a temporary one at the time being. It's a shock, like literally 10 to 5. Everybody about to log off and walk. If you're not walking, chilling out, whatever you're doing, and you get this news coming through. Statement FC back in the cold again. You know, I thought we are going the right step forward. The lad was only in the job full time 3 months. And he's now stepped. Now we can't say if the case that was the board that made that decision, or was it personal circumstances? Was it down to personal reasons? But we were moving forward as a club. He was a big part of appointing Ange. He's been a big part of obviously getting the 12 players in the last 2 transfer windows, permanent deals and loan deals as well. It's just a shambles. Just feel like knocking off your feet. This is a full house tomorrow at Celtic Park against Ross County, of all teams, and we're back down the slums again, laughing stock for the time being. Is it a case that he was selling the ideas to the board and they weren't buying it?
I mean, obviously there's chat as well that I've seen a couple of text messages and WhatsApp messages floating about that. Supposedly, Peter Lawwell still interviewing people for like the director of football, and Dom Mckay wasn't happy about it. He spoke to Dermot Desmond about it. Supposedly, him and Dermot Desmond's relationship has broken down, their working relationship. Listen, whether it's to do with that or whether it's to do with something else, I don't know. But the thing is, obviously, Dom came out quite quickly in his time at Celtic and kind of laid the groundwork and basically said what he wanted, his ideas for the future.
Is a new culture of football, a new culture around the club.
A lot of fans bought into it, but at the end of the day, we'll never know what was going to be in the pipeline, because it looks like Celtic are going to get their own man in. Whether it's they're going to shut the doors again and keep it a closed case, I don't know. This guy, Nicholson, is it Michael Nicholson? Never heard of the guy in my life. Never heard of the role.
Never heard of him as well.
Never heard of the job role in my life. Something like legal and something or other.
Stock exchange stunt. That's what that is.
Aye. That I genuinely don't. I've never heard of a role like this in a football club. The fact he's been in there 8 years and nobody has heard of him sends alarm bells ringing. Listen, at the end of the day, we need to go out and do a job tomorrow and then try and sort it out in the coming days. Obviously, we've got Real Betis as well coming on Thursday.
Oh, tough. a tough schedule of games that this season's going to be tough. We're on the rebuild. We have had to get 4 players in last 10 days. Some good players, some good potential. Obviously, Liam Scales, Georgios, Yotta, Cameron Vickers. They all could be in potential for tomorrow to start, but Georgios looks like he's a bit off the pace at the moment, Ange says. But regards to Ange, he was appointed by obviously Dom. Is a case that him and Dom had a vision, which they came out and said at the press conference, and Dermot Desmond wasn't happy with it. It was a case that they were asking for too much money to rebuild the team, and Dom was stuck in the middle. He was irritated, and we don't know because it's down to personal reasons, family reasons, as they're saying, they're speculating on, as the club is put out. But what I'm annoyed is, they should be bigger people come out, do a press conference, say, look, Dom's leaving, we want to engage with the fans, because you've seen what Dom bring in. You get the fans' questions as well, bring that in. He's been working hard with the fans behind the scenes as well. And it's a case that we're going to be just back in the silence again. Literally the eve of Ross County. Every time we play Ross County, something happens.
I just say, the thing is, it's I don't know. It's Celtic just don't do things easy. Now, we've already had 2 defeats this season, and we've only played 4 games. So it's a worst start to the season that I can remember in my lifetime. I genuinely, as I say, I think we've got a job tomorrow, and I think Ange is professional enough to just distance the players from what's happening behind the scenes. Just say to them, listen, it's nothing to do with us. We go in the park, we win the game, we send the fans home happy. I know for a fact there will be banners and protests up at Celtic Park tomorrow. Just want to know what the hell's
going on. Clarity.
The Celtic fans, now that's another thing about Dom Mckay as well, that I think the way we were going down a route where he wants to interact with the fans, we started up the fan media conference, and where fans could ask questions to players and the manager and all the rest of it. And we obviously spoke last night about some of the ridiculous questions that people seem to be asking. But that's the kind of interaction he wanted with the Celtic fans, and I think
moving forward,
I think that's why the Celtic fans took to him. 71 days later, he's out of a job. If it was down to a family issue, then why did he not just take time out? Why was his job not held open for him, left open for him to come back?
That's a good point. No one said that. All the podcasts I've been watching on it so far, no one's actually said that. But is it a case that he put all the eggs in the basket and he was literally thrown in the bin because he didn't qualify for the Champions League as well?
I don't
Hands
know.
tied there.
I heard Ange saying today in a press conference that it obviously brought in 10, 11 players in the transfer window, and in his words, he says that's too many for a team to bring in at one time, in my opinion. But it's what we needed to start the rebuilding. Obviously, these players now are in, and we can focus, now that the window's shut, we can focus on the next period and then see where we are in January, kind of thing. So I thought that was interesting. It says it's more than anybody needs. So maybe it's a case of it's something to do with transfers. Maybe he's went over. I can't imagine he's went over Desmond's head, because obviously he has the ultimate ruling in the club. But at the end of the day, something's broke down. He's not just left that club. He's not left that job for nothing. Do you know what I mean? So obviously something's been said or something's happened in the background and listen, as I say, we'll never know. The only people that will know that now is Dominic Mckay himself and the Celtic hierarchy. That is the only
if it is family things, I wish him the very best. And some people are coming on the page now and criticise him, saying, well, he should never got the job because he was a director of Scottish rugby. The turnover of Scottish rugby, what he made, he transformed Scottish rugby. I know Scottish rugby is not Celtic caliber, but he's done it. He's done the experience. He's fair enough. It's a different sport, but it's not what he's doing on the pitch. He's not a manager. He's a chief executive. What happens in the background is the most important that a lot of fans won't see. But he tried to publicly do that, trying to engage with the fans. And okay, we'll see what happens with that one, because it is a head scratcher. Like on a Friday evening, this comes out after an international break, and you're saying to yourself, what is going on? Like, what is going on? And
there's no press conference. There's no big announcement. They kind of slipped it in. As if
like I've seen fans saying, is it a case that Gordon Strachan was brought in to kind of suss him out to see what his vision was to go say it back to Desmond? Like, I know it's crazy speculation, but
I think that everybody's going to be coming up with conspiracy theories, and everybody's going to have a mate that's in the know. And text messages are going to be flying about. As I say, I thought it was a very short reply from Don Mckay when he added, I'd like to thank the board and everyone at Celtic for their support and wish everyone at Celtic every success in the future. He didn't go into great detail about who he wanted to thank, and it was a bit like, right, thanks, I'm away. So obviously something's been said and something's angered him that he's left the club. But as I say, listen, we'll never know. We'll never know.
Well, I want to talk about the board there. Someone said to me the other day in the pub, like, what's the best thing Dermot Desmond's done in the last decade? And I was like, probably sacking Ronnie Doyle and getting Brendan in, because he knew that shit was against him after the Scottish Cup semi-final. That's the only thing they've productively done positive in the last decade. I know people might turn around and say, well, that's a joke because we went on to do trebles. But Brendan Rodgers was the manager that put the foundations in for the trebles.
Yeah. As I say, Brendan came in.
He didn't get the players he wanted, but it just, you really wonder what's going on in the background. They gave Neil Lennon so much time when the shambles was bad, when it was really bad. They didn't come out with a review. They said, January review. They brushed out under the carpet. It's just, I'm annoyed because we all wanted to be sitting here tonight, which we will be talking about the Ross County game. But this is obviously this is the talk of the night.
News. It's big news.
It's just an absolute shambles. I'm missing a couple of players anyway for the weekend, but I think Ange doesn't get the funding, and you've seen Ange the way he spoke out when he wanted players in after the Champions League exit, and even after the Hearts game, he was basically making a clear message to the board: he needs ammunition, and if he doesn't have a decent middleman that can help him rebuild his team long term, or even past his rolling season contract, what's going to happen? Is it a case that he's going to be gone? He's fed up with it.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, it was interesting because after the defeat to Rangers, it was very, very calm. Very kind of, I don't mean to distance himself from it, but it was kind of like, you know what, I should have played Kyogo through the middle. I think, as I said to you before, I think he knew that was going to be Odsonne Edouard's last game for Celtic, so I think that's why he played, hoping to get a reaction out of him. Didn't, unfortunately. And he knows he made a mistake as a manager, and he says, listen, we'll dust ourselves down, we'll go again, and that's it. And I think the fans bought into that because we know he needs time, and we know
he's very honest. Not where Lennon wasn't honest. Lennon blamed on everyone.
His mistakes, and he's like, well, listen, won't happen again next time. That's it, Jane. And he's brought players in, and he's strengthened the squad. And obviously, I don't know much about Jota, but he looks an exciting player. Same with Georgios as well, top goal scorer in the Eredivisie. Liam Scales, 6'4" defender, and obviously
one of the best players in the League of Ireland. He was quite composed in European games for Rovers as well. Now as an Irish international, look, I know people might say Ireland are shite and this and that, but to still get called up for your country is a big achievement in itself. But
he can score a goal as well. He can score a goal for a set piece as well.
Left wing back, defensive midfielder, centre back. What you want, that's what you need. It's not like he's putting in a plastic beat on, fake trade. Right. He's not even a centre back, and he's playing defensive. He plays centre back in the position that he's not even preferred. He's defensive midfielder. You know,
But, as I say, like tomorrow, I think we'll be professional about it. It might not be the 6-0 like against Dundee and St Mirren, but
never say never in football.
well, that's it. If we go out and get an early goal, then who knows? We could turn it on again and send the fans home happy, hopefully.
Well, okay. The most important thing is not even about 6-0. It's about getting the 3 points.
That's it.
If it's a scrappy game of football, we get over the line. I don't care. Once we get the 3 points, and we're moving up the table. That's the most important. You can't always have 6-0. You can't always have 3-0 and 4-0. Just go out there, put the short on, and give whatever you can. You know, they might have a good plan against us, but I was going to go through the comments now. Do you think Lawwell has a hand in Dom's departure? Look, I don't want to speculate about it too much at the end of the day. He said on the statements down to family circumstances, personal circumstances. So, and maybe there's a confidential agreement there between Dom Mckay and the club. He might not hear for maybe 3 to 4 months, even longer. We shall find out. Hopefully. Well, do you think Lawwell's pulling the strings? You still think he's pulling the strings at Celtic?
It would not surprise me personally. In my opinion, it wouldn't surprise me, and I don't mean this to sound like it's going to sound, but I kind of hope it is just purely for personal reasons, and it is,
of course,
not anything serious, obviously.
But no serious, but obviously it wasn't the board's decision.
Hopefully that he hasn't been driven away from Celtic. That's what I mean. Hopefully he's not been driven away by Dermot Desmond or anybody else, kind of thing. Because
he's trying to modernise the football club.
Exactly.
And if he's not getting a backing from the top, you know, what do you expect?
Aye, as I say, because I can't imagine him getting any grief by anybody in the street because he's Celtic CEO. Do you know what I mean? I imagine he obviously lives quite a private life. So, but as I say, listen, we're going to see text messages and WhatsApp groups and things like that. You know, Rangers fans are going to be having a field day with this. But at the end of the day, as you say, we need to get 3 points in Mora because they play first. Obviously, they play up at McDermott Park tomorrow. And
should we even think about what they're doing? We need to think what we're doing. We need to fix.
The fact is,
we need to fix our problems
off
the pitch. And keep doing what we're doing on the pitch. Like fair enough. We've had 2 domestic defeats, and they were both away, so we're still unbeaten at home.
Aye,
I know the opposition.
100% agree with you, but at the same time, when they're on at lunchtime before you, and the game's on TV, I don't see the harm in kind of just keeping an eye on how they're doing. I know Haji's supposedly tested positive for COVID. Nathan Patterson pulled out of Scotland squad with no explanation, so I don't know what that was.
His injury.
Was it a serious injury? Because I know he played against Moldova, and I didn't see him kind of picking anything up, so I wasn't sure. But obviously, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully, St Johnstone could do us a favour tomorrow, but it is all about us.
At the end of the day, I won't be focusing on their result or if they lose. I'm sure we'll all be jumping around, but the most focused thing is playing Ross County tomorrow, 3:00 kickoff. It's a full house at Celtic Park. There's going to be a lot of confused Celtic fans because of what's happening today. I don't blame them, you know, but we have a missing Kyogo, which is a lot of people's heads are depressed about. But we have players that can fit in there. Like Yota could play in there. He's a left winger. That's what we bought him. You know, it could be a case that he's going to have to start up front now because Georges is not full at the pace, and then Abada on the right.
I mean, I wouldn't say we've got an abundance of talent at left.
Well, we're still missing Mikey Johnson and stuff as well, and Dembele.
I don't know. Forrest is still injured. I've not heard.
McCarthy can feature tomorrow.
Don't know fitness wise. Not too.
I think is it a case that it's going well in the midfield that you don't want to change it and give McCarthy his opportunity.
No, like I don't mind Jota playing tomorrow in that left wing. Whether you play a Yeti or Georgius up front, I don't know. But at the end of the day, this was always a worry up front because everybody was screaming, you need to get rid of Edwards, get rid of Griffiths, get them at the club. We've got them at the club, and what happens? Our striker is now out for 3 or 4 weeks, and we're left with a guy that can't hit the back of the net and a guy that's just came in from Holland. So
because he didn't get much pre-season training as well.
Exactly. So, you're left with one potential striker and a guy that's never played before. So, this was always a worry for me.
Spanish midfield formation.
Because listen, if Lee Griffiths is still at this club,
I'm sure we'll be calling from the play tomorrow.
He would be playing tomorrow. 100% he would be in the squad tomorrow. But he's no, and he's at Dundee, and I think he'll bang in the goals for Dundee and get back in that Scotland squad. And I think
you're asking a lot, guys. You're asking a lot.
And I think that's it. No, I genuinely listen. Scotland doesn't. I know Dykes and Shea Adams have been playing well the last couple of games, and they've started linking up well. But listen, we need a prolific striker, and I think if Griffiths,
but you need a striker that has his head screwed on, that's actually going to score goals, and he's going to be featuring every week.
Aye, absolutely, and I think if he hits the ground running at Dundee starting this weekend, then I think it won't be long. I think he could possibly be in for the Israel game next month.
Someone said, he's fitter than Lee. I wouldn't disagree. He looked in good shape here, pre-season.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But at the end of the day, I think Lee Griffiths has got more goals in him than Albion Ayeti.
We shall see. Well, more likely.
Instead of getting Tony, we should have got Ayeti. So I think we got the raw end of the deal, but that was Celtic's decision.
I was watching the press conference today, on the way home, and Ange, when they were asked him about players going, he kind of sighed and he said to himself, "Well, look, I wish them the very best in their career, but it was like it's like he was kind of saying that I wish they kind of stayed."
Mm-hmm.
As an Edward, maybe Christie.
Yeah, 100%. Like they two players, especially, I think he would have wanted. He would have wanted them to stay because they are quality players at the end of the day, and I think they will show that. It'll be weird to see Edward play, and obviously Christie in the Championship, but Edward in the Premiership. I'm hoping he'll kind of link up well with Vieira at Palace as a manager, and he needs to get out that club quickly though. He needs to do what Kieran Tierney's done. You look at Kieran Tierney, he's the best player in that squad, one of the best players in that squad by far.
He still can't get the captaincy.
Smith Rowe as well was the other standout in that team. But he needs to get out that club before he gets stuck there. And his price tag might just, relinquish. So he needs to get out that club. But listen, we'd love, obviously, to still have Edward and Christie and be that bit stronger. But listen, I think
the nail in the coffin hit with Celtic fans when he missed that chance. But I think you need to stop looking at that chance and realise what he done for us in his time at Celtic. Scoring in the treble, scoring them European nights. People forget about that. He's all moan about the missed chance. What about the good stuff he done over them glorious years? No, not a lot of fans talked about that when he's left.
Aye, that's don't be. A Celtic player or a Celtic manager is always two bad games away.
He's down now in Celtic folklore, and people are moaning about the miss against them. Forget about the miss. Forget about that performance. You move on. Simple as that. Player will move on. He will be part of a golden legacy of success that we brought. 100%. No club has ever done it.
100%. The goals against Rangers, as you say, the European goals. I just think you need to remember the good things about him, and I wish him all the best. But he's not a player in there, so we need to focus on the players we have, and hopefully that likes a Jota can light up Celtic Park tomorrow.
What do you think of Oyer's Oyer's quote?
I was going to ask you actually. I seen the comments, and listen, I kind of get where he's coming from, and at the same time, is I think it's really, really disrespectful to the Scottish League. He's no Virgil van Dijk. I love him a bit. I think he's a fantastic defender, but he's no Virgil van Dijk, let's face it. He got caught out a lot in his time at Celtic, so he's not invisible to criticism. I think because he's down there now, because he's down at Brentford, he almost maybe feel a bit protected in terms of he thinks he can say what he wants. He probably wasn't challenged as much as he'd like to think, but at the end of the day, you know, he had to go on loan to Kilmarnock once upon a time, do you know what I mean? So I think it just needs to take players like that need to sometimes rein it in. You can have an opinion, but you need to be careful not to cross that line and distance yourself from the fans that loved you. It's not that long ago he scored the goal that won us the quadruple treble against Hearts.
As you say, I want to get in the comments here, folks. Me and Gaz were in this conversation, the Brazen, the other day, and he says the best Scottish final, cup final he's ever watched was the quad treble one, the penalty. And I disagreed, and I said, no, the Tom Rodgers final, all day, best final. I even think, you know what, even that Hibs final would probably be up there against Rangers, would be up there, given a contender. But
that was a fantastic final, but I just think for nerves,
it didn't give me the nerves that I usually get because the fans weren't there. Because usually when they put the camera on the fans and you hear the fans singing and everybody looks stressed out of their heads, that missed it. That's the reason why I didn't give it the best final.
I was in bits at half time. I was like, oh, you know, cigars out with cup finals in the bag. It's done. It's dusted. And we came out and absolutely collapsed and nearly blew it. And I just think, despite the fact there was no fans there, I think it will go down as one of the greatest ever Scottish Cup finals, honestly. Extra time. First time it had penalties, I think, since 2006, Hearts and Gretna. You know, so
we're regretting it now.
Well, funnily enough, they're playing in the Scottish Cup, I think. I don't know if it's this weekend. Gretna 2008. But aye, listen, I just think it's all about opinions at the end of the day.
It is all about all this is all about opinions, folks. So, like, you know, go ahead, throw it in there. I want to say a massive hello to everyone on Facebook that's watching, YouTube and Twitter. As I said, get you a point. Someone's asked about Kyogo. So Kyogo's out for 3 to 4 weeks. He got injured the other night against China. 1-0 victory for Japan for the Samurais.
Did you see how he injured himself? Because I don't know if this is true.
Corny's a hamstring. It's a hamstring, yeah.
Was it nobody was near him? It just kind of.
I didn't see any coverage. I was trying to find coverage. Couldn't find anything about it. I wasn't going to sit there and watch a full match. Like,
I don't know if it was one of the pundits or one of the managers or coaches. It says they kind of slated. It says that they be angry about his positioning, something to do with his positioning and how he got injured. So I don't really know what the story was there, but
he's playing left wing. He's playing left wing for Japan. He was.
The wee man he's hurt the ground running big time.
He'll be back soon.
Need to get him back, but the fact is, if it is a knee injury, or if it's a hamstring, I don't know. But at the same time as we can't rush him back, we kind of need him back in that squad, scoring goals.
Of course, we don't have enough ammunition up front, and this is what you were saying. Like Griff needed to go. Edouard needed to go as much as I appreciate his moments in a Celtic shirt, and you know, it's just you want hungry players there, and the likes of Kyogo and Abada, they have a new freshness to the squad, and McGregor's doing quite well in the midfield. I have to say, Conor McGregor's the captain so far, brilliant so far. I know, look at the big games, we haven't come across the 2 big games yet, Hearts and Rangers, but look at we have to play them a couple of times this season. We play them in the cups and get the revenge on as well. Well, we played them already in the League Cup and hammered them, but like Hearts, I'm talking about Rangers.
Aye, as I say, like two defeats this season has not been good enough, and especially when you're losing at Tynecastle and Ibrox. You know, so we need to bounce back for that. In terms of the starting lineup tomorrow, a lot of new players. Would you throw any of them in?
Yeah, I would.
Would you throw all of them in, or do you think some need a wee bit more time?
Starting lineup, I would go with Hart and goal. I'll go with right back Jovanovic. Centre back, Cameron Vickers, because he's at that playing a good few games for Tottenham, obviously with the Europa League and pre-season in there. Is it a case you go for Starfelt because you had a good game against Rangers? You stick with Welchie. I'd probably go with Welchie.
Mm-hmm.
Left back, I would stick in Shaw. Or Scales, sorry. Shaw. Scales, stick him in because I don't know what the story is with Taylor, if he's ready to go or not. And I'm not gonna go for Bolingoli, not a chance. I know people could say Montgomery, but I'm gonna go with Scales on this because he's obviously halfway through a season where Rovers he was, played a bit of European games, and you know what? There's no point of wasting players. You're not gonna play them.
Mm-hmm.
So put Scales in there. Midfield, Turnbull, McGregor, and Rogic. And I don't know now, to be honest, Rogic after being travelling from Australia, could be jet lagged, could not be up for it. That's the big question there. You know, Turnbull, did he not play the other night for Scotland? The second game, did he? Or the third game?
Turnbull, no.
So he's more likely fresh legs. So Turnbull, McGregor, on the right would be Abada, on the left would be Yota, and then up front to be Albion Yeti because we have no other options.
Mm-hmm. For me,
like it was a case like at one stage we had Klamala, we could have called back Boyo, we could have Griffiths, Yeti, and we did.
I know that's the crazy thing, and the fact of the matter is we were only really playing one up front at the time, so there was plenty of options there, and now we're devoid of any kind of a striker really, prolific wise. But obviously,
it's crazy the conversation that we're having here. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were saying that we were lacking at the back, and we were all right up front. Now it's the reverse conversation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ralston played at right back against Rangers, and Juranovic came in against. He came in at left back. Do you think there's a possibility he might try and keep that scenario, or do you think he'll just want to give Ralston a rest with being at home?
Ralston was good against Rangers. Ralston's been good so far this season, like, considering I was one of the critics that was out for him. I think a lot of us were out for him. I think he played well, played his heart and sleeve. Answer your question, you could go the safe option and go Jovanovic on the left and go with Ralston on the right because he's playing at home. He's more comfortable on the ball, and he might take a chance of getting a goal out of it as well. But okay, it is an option. I don't know what's the story with Taylor. I haven't heard much about Taylor. In case that he's his shoulder.
I don't think he's going to be back. They've not mentioned him in the team news, but I don't think Kim or Forrest will be back yet featuring. For me,
Montgomery is a good player. I think I'd rather see more Montgomery, more attacking wise than defensively.
I think tomorrow. I think obviously Hart in goals. I think it's going to be Starfelt and Welsh at the back. I think Carter Vickers may come on late on, depending on the scoreline, just to give him a bit of game time. I think I'd move Juranovic to right back to his natural position, because I think there's going to come a game, if we keep playing him at left back just to cover Taylor, I think there's going to come a game where he's going to make a mistake or two and the fans are going to get on his back, even though he's not left back. So I'd go Juranovic at right back, and I'd go Scales. I'd throw Scales in at left back, if I'm being honest. Through the middle, pretty much the same as you. I'm going Jota out left, Abada out right, and the middle three are Kalmak, Turnbull and Rogic. Obviously, we need to see, with Rogic, we're playing for Australia midweek, but I think it'll be a Yeti up front is kind of the safe option.
What you could do is you could bring McCarthy in beside McGregor and put Turnbull behind the striker.
Could do. That's a shout. But as I say, I'm not too sure about McCarthy's fitness.
He's fit. Is
he fit? But
he's
fit.
I've
seen him against Hearts in the Cup. That's the last time I've seen him, and he didn't look great, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? I know he didn't play the full game, but listen, I think it's going to be as strong a team as we can put out tomorrow. I think a Yeti will be thrown in up front with the hope that this might kickstart his career. at Celtic. If you look at it, I know when you look back to even Dembele, remember when Griffiths was injured and we were coming up to the Rangers game at Celtic Park, and everybody thought, Dembele's. I think
now, guys, people are probably thinking to themselves like, Dembele's a different gravy because Dembele was scoring the championship.
Oh, 100%. But at the time, Dembele, I think he'd scored one goal for us, and I think that was during the weekend. It was a penalty against Astana. That obviously took us through. But I can remember when I heard that Griffiths was out injured and Dembele was in, I kind of worried a wee bit. And what happened is that is the game that kick-started Mr. Dembele's Celtic career, and I'm hoping
King Glasgow.
I'm hoping that it can work the same for Albion Ayeti tomorrow.
Oh, I don't think you're asking for a lot, but you know what? There's no harm having a bit of hope. As you say, keep the faith. Keep the faith.
If he gets the service from Jota and Abada, who knows?
Guys, we will not be weakened by Kyogo's absence. We will have a good side. Just watch. Red Scotland is always positive. I've never seen him have a moan on any podcast. The Celtic state of mind, anything he goes live on, always a positive attitude. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Glass half full kind of guy.
That's it. It's the way to be, Like, I think the only time I seen Red Scotland moaning was when we were all moaning when we were going through that big grey spell.
Aye.
After the Ross County defeat, but Ross County, they haven't won yet so far. 2 draws and 2 defeats. This is the team I tip to be relegated. I think they'll finish bottom of the league.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, obviously, as you say, 2 points. They've lost to Rangers at home. I mean, they did score twice. And in fairness to them, a good draw last time round with Aberdeen, 1 each. But no, they've no hit the ground running yet, and I don't think they're ever going to hit the dizzying heights of top 6. But when you look at Livingston down there, they're now 4 point, how well they've done in recent seasons, and they are smack bang at the bottom on 0 points after 4 games. So the honeymoon period is definitely over there. But listen, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that
it's early days, guys. Early days.
It's only 4 games in. But the point is we've lost to Hearts and we've lost to Rangers so early on.
But that's what you were saying. If you literally a month ago said there's going to be bumps and bruises in this season. We can't get everything perfect. Like fans in their heads are expecting fucking 6-0 tomorrow, 7-0 tomorrow. We have the team there to do it. Yes, we do. We're playing phenomenal football at home, but we're coming off an international break. Losing a CEO could affect the players in some way. He maybe Ange's that type of manager, good man manager, saying, forget about what's going on in the background. Let's focus what the most important thing is. Get into that dressing room, put that shirt on, go out there and let the full house, let that you never walk alone tingle you, and bang goals in.
That's it. And as I say, if we get an early couple of goals tomorrow, like we did against St Mirren the last time out, then who knows, it could be 6 or 7. The game I am really looking forward to seeing this weekend, and I know I'm bigging it up, and it's going to be an absolutely boring nothing.
Tyrone and Mayo, the All-Ireland final?
the Edinburgh Derby on Sunday on Sky.
Tynecastle or Easter Road?
Hibs and Hearts, top of the league. I'll tell you, it is at Tynecastle.
Top of the league. What are you even saying, man? What are you going to do?
They are. 10 points out of 12. They're both up there, 10 points out of 12. And I know I'm bigging it up, and it's probably going to be a boring nothing each draw, but I think it's got all the makings of an absolutely classic derby. So I say that is a game I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
I'm very surprised Hibs kept Nesbitt, 5 million. Swansea offered. Speaking of Swansea, Nacham got a good reference off Brownie and McGregor.
So I heard. I had high hopes for Swansea this season, and they've not started well at all.
Early days, guys.
Early days, but it's even early days for them because obviously it's a longer season down in the Championship. But but no, as I say, they're a good team to watch, Swansea, and I think he'll do well at Swansea. He will get a move eventually. Somebody will come in and take him again. I'm surprised there's no more teams that were named for him. He seems to kind of be that. He seemed to be a wee bit unwanted.
That's Dublin type of French player, you know.
Aye,
big
he
enough,
seemed to be
big.
a wee bit unwanted.
But when you look back at this transfer window, a lot of Deadwood's gone. A lot of Deadwood's moved on. The Cham's gone, you know. We didn't get the shift off any of the keepers, unfortunately. You know, not even like Doolan went on loan to Tranmere. Hendry's gone, you know. Cheved's gone. Edward's gone. Griff has gone on loan. Who else? I can't even think here. Midfield boys, you know. I wish in the chat. I'm not in the chat. I wish Beaton moved on as well, but that didn't happen.
I can see. Do you know what? I can see 10 years down the line. I can see like
Bolingoli should have went.
I can see like Scott Brown and Neil Beaton being in the Celtic hot seat. Honestly, I can see them being like manager.
Oh, don't be saying Neil Beaton there. That dugout.
That's, to be honest.
It's ridiculous. Like the lad has done his time at Celtic. He needs to move on. He was done well when he started scoring them few goals when he playing defensive midfield, and obviously his Champions League debut he got sent off and all. But like
it feels a wee bit Bobo Baldi era, because you know the way Bobo kind of seen his time out at Celtic. Great defender for Celtic, gave us some great moments, but at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to be remembered for picking up a wage, sitting on the bench, doing nothing.
Yeah, but he wanted to play for the shorts. But then Lawwell had a massive argument with Lawwell, and he said, "Okay, well, I'll tell you what. If you're not going to let me feature. If Strachan's not going to let me feature, I will sit here and collect the cash."
Aye.
So he was reportedly on 20 grand a week or something. He was on.
Aye, but listen, who knows? As I say,
what score are you on for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I'm going to go 3-0.
You're on 3-0.
I'm going 3-0. I don't think it'll be as high as 6. I think it'll be a fairly cagey game. We'll probably be 1-0 up at half time and then bang in 2 goals second half.
I'm going to go 3-1. I just think Ross County are going to come off a bit of a buzz after scoring against them, and then if they're playing against the Glasgow Fishbowl, anyone in the Glasgow, they're going to have a bit of confidence. They'll still have their heads up their arses after beating us in the League Cup and taking something against us at Celtic Park. And remember, they were the last team to knock Neil Lennon out of that job.
Aye. But I mean, I don't think.
I know that's last season. I know we have to move on from that show.
I don't think the players will go there think, you know, we can win here again kind of thing, because I just think
we still have mistakes in us. You look at us away in the Europa League.
It's all down to how we start the game. If we start the game like we have done in recent weeks, we'll blow them out the water. We will blow them out the water. But we need to start that way. So it depends on the team he picks and he puts out. But the other thing was obviously when you look at it, what was I going to say now? About.
Well, is it going to be a case that just we've been talking about Don McCoy that started it live? Is it a case that in a week or two's time, people will forget about Don McCoy? Is it a case that we're going to getting productive results and we're forgetting what's going on in the background? Because there is a lot of Celtic fans that will always criticise the board, regardless what decisions made. They just don't trust the board. They want the board. They want to change the board.
No, I don't think the Celtic fans are going to forget about this anytime soon. It's not like it's a new manager. With a new manager, you could potentially bring a Jose Mourinho in or a Pep Guardiola in, and I'm not saying to Celtic, obviously.
I thought you were sniffing the glue tonight, to be honest with you.
You could bring a really high-profile manager in like that, but you tell me a really high-profile CEO of a football club that the fans are going to absolutely go nuts for.
We go Ed Ruby.
Maybe Daniel Levy, the way he's running Tottenham. But no, listen, that's the point. with a manager, you can get excited about a manager because you know.
I hear Craig White's coming in. Rooms of Craig White.
Charles Green. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you're not going to get excited about a CEO coming in, and we kind of bought into Don Mckay's vision of how he wanted Celtic to run, and that's great. But at the end of the day, we don't know how he's gone. We don't know why he's gone, and in my opinion, we'll never know because nobody at that club will tell the fans what really happened.
They don't.
It's up to Don Mckay. If he's not got a clause in his contract that says he can't speak, then I'm sure he will come out and inform whoever. But at the end of the day,
but it's annoying though. Like he's only 2 months fully into the job. Like he went in and kind of was under the wing of Lawwell to kind of suss the club out and suss the outgoings, and then he got the job permanently in July, and he's gone. And we're only in the first week in September. Like,
I mean,
it's mediocre stuff.
Obviously, there was when he came in to kind of shadow Lowell. Lowell was still interviewing, I think, directors of football or maybe managers at the time, and before we got Postecoglou. And I don't know how that sat with him. Obviously, he was shadowing him, but I don't really think Peter Lowell at that point, knowing he was going, should have had an input because
shouldn't have the input.
He shouldn't have.
It's a new regime, new legacy. Let the man come in and test him at the reins and let him interview who he wants to interview.
It sounds to me like Don Mckay went into those interviews. I don't mean scared to kind of ask questions, but he probably wanted to speak to these guys himself personally, whether Dermot Desmond was there or not. But that's what I'm saying. You need to. You can't have a guy that's ready to leave the club and say, "Oh well, I still want an input here." Well, no, you can't have an input if you're leaving. You know what I mean?
I would not be surprised in that Lawwell comes back. I really would not be surprised. Stranger things have happened.
I think there would be one almighty uproar at Celtic Park. I think there would be one almighty uproar. And they're playing with fire this season. We need to get in this Champions League group stage next season. We need to get this league title back.
Playing with fire already. We've no CEO.
bringing Peter Lawwell back would be football suicide, honestly. I think they need to listen. If you want to give this guy Nicholson the job, give him it, and let's get on with it. Don Mckay's gone. That's it. Let's get somebody else in. Let's get him permanently in the job, and let's see what he's about. Enough
tears. Let's get the sweat on and start winning football games.
We had enough misery last season. I want to focus on this team on the park. We've got a Europa League opener on Thursday. Gutted that the fans can't go. I seen some ridiculous comments for Celtic fans today saying tit for tat, don't give them tickets for the Celtic Park return leg. Absolutely ridiculous. It was not a club decision. It was a government decision for safety and for COVID protocols. They couldn't give away fans tickets. At the end of the day, we should definitely give them.
And watch your output of this whole thing, guys, with this COVID 10,000s thing. What do you think? Do you think it's going to kill football? Poor Scottish clubs literally on their knees.
No, I don't really see the problem, to be honest. I'm no for forcing everybody to be vaccinated. If you don't want to get the vaccination, then that's your decision, and you believe in that, and that's fair enough. But
there's people that don't want the vaccination that are being going to the games for years, and they just don't trust this vaccination because it's still a clinical trial. Why should they have to be forced to be vaccinated to watch a football game?
I know what you mean. But you think about it. You go to Celtic Park right now. I was at Celtic Park for the St Mirren game. I was wearing my mask up and down the concourse, like most people were. I have to say, most people.
Were you wearing it sitting there? Were you?
I wasn't wearing it.
You want to answer that now?
I wasn't wearing it sitting down, to be honest. But you quickly forget when you're watching a game of football that there's a pandemic, and you quickly forget because you're focused on the game. And obviously, we won 6-0 that day, and crowd were brilliant and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, you get up, you put your mask on, and until you're outside in the fresh air, then you take it off. But at the end of the day, for me, I don't have a problem with if I need if I need to show a QR code to get into, I'm not going into nightclubs anytime soon.
I don't think nightclubs are the pain to me.
And that's the
They're crawling anyway.
that's the thing. Football grounds are probably partly the reason why the numbers are rising, in my opinion. Schools going back, football grounds being full again. All of a sudden, you're sitting next to a guy, you don't know if he's been vaccinated, you don't know if he's, got signs of COVID, and I think that's what the problem is. I know they're saying the other night in the news that they might do random security checks at grounds to ask people for the QR code for the vaccine passport. For me, that causes more trouble.
I think it's discrimination against classes of people. Like, if people don't want to get it, they don't.
I think you do it for everybody or not at all.
Like, it's still a clinical trial. Look, I'm vaccinating myself, folks, and I just feel, I don't feel it's right, because the people, like, I just feel like everything going on at the moment, as a Celtic fan, looking at a bigger picture, I'm not a season ticket holder. If you're a season ticket holder, it was a PR stunt. They got Ange in literally before the renewals. That was all right. Now, Dom was in the door. Dom's gone now. The whole thing with the whole thing is a government thing. It's not a Celtic thing. It's a government thing. I'm saying in general. Like, it could be the same for Ibrox or Pittodrie or Easter Road, Tynecastle, whatever, Hampden, whatever it is. But I just think if you're at the spending that money on a season book, and you refuse to go to see your football team because you want to think of your own health, the way whatever is going into your body, and they refuse you, I think that's discrimination. Because even though you are a loyal customer and you don't want that in you. I understand people will reject and say, well, okay, yeah, I got to think about everybody else's health here. There's people beside you that need it, are vulnerable and stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to think of yourself first.
Well, for instance, I was never going to at first, because I was
it's your body.
Because I was in the group where, because when they first started doing the vaccinations, obviously I think it was over 90s, and then it kind of slowly went down in age groups, and then health-wise kind of thing. So I was basically, I think, group 12. I think I was the bottom of the groups to get it. So I wasn't in a rush to get it. I could have went online and put in that I was a carer for my gran, and I could have got it ages ago. But I wasn't in a rush for it because I don't like needles. I don't like injections because I'm a big wimp. And B, I just felt okay, so I wasn't in a rush for it. So obviously, when I got my vaccination letters in, I went and got my vaccinations, and that's fine. And I got them because I knew for a fact that this was going to happen. I knew for a fact that something like this was going to happen. You were going to need it if you wanted to go on holiday. You were going to need it if you wanted to go places, whether that's football grounds, venues, concerts, whatever. So I just didn't see the point in trying to protest against it. I just thought, leave it to somebody else that actually believes that this is some sort of conspiracy with the government, that they're putting some kind of chemicals in our body for some weird reason. I don't know. It's obviously people have got some random notions about it, but in my opinion, I'm going on holiday next Saturday. I'm going away to Benidorm next Saturday.
Oh, are you? Didn't even tell me when I was over. You didn't tell me this when I was over.
I actually booked the flights.
Sticky Vicky Wanyama, is it?
I actually booked the flights last night, but that's what I'm saying. It's like,
hopefully you're not one of them. Hopefully you're not that lad that wears the Union Jack shorts and the Celtic jersey, are you?
Oh yeah, you see me in bargain Brits abroad, but no, it's as I say, I've done that, so I could go on holiday, I could go away in the sun, and that's what I'm going to do. And I know people that haven't got the vaccination and they've got their reasons, and that's fair enough. So I'm not going to disagree with anybody that doesn't want to get it. But
a non-vaccination stand is going to be more likely at this rate.
At the end of the day, the only thing I would disagree with in terms of the whole vaccinations is the whole PCR tests that you need to take when you're on holiday, that you need to pay X amount of money for. I don't agree with that. I think that should be given to you. you should be able to take it either at the airport or there should be testing tents at the airport, and then that way, if people want to go on holiday, they get tested. If they're negative, they go on a plane. Simple as that. But that doesn't bring in any money. So it's unfortunately it's all about money nowadays. But no, listen, that's my opinion on it, and people will disagree with me, but I don't really care.
Look, I've been vaccinated for 3 weeks now, and I've been over to Scotland. I thought I had symptoms when I came back, and I got tested, and I was negative and stuff. But look, better safe than sorry. But I just feel sorry for it. I wouldn't say feel sorry. I just feel like it's against classes. If you don't want to be vaccinated and you're getting refused from a club that you've been pumping thousands into maybe your whole life, and you get refused because you're not vaccinated, how does that feel? Like, what did it like? Is the case that you can't go now? We're going to give you that streaming service for free.
Aye, but at the same time, I mean, it is a safety issue where, when the nightclubs opened, I said, when they opened at midnight and everybody was going mental and everybody was hugging and kissing the dance floor and they were just, they were going nuts as if it was New Year's Eve. In my opinion, you shouldn't have been able to get into a nightclub then if you weren't double vaccinated. That's my opinion. But then again, I have no plans to go to a nightclub or a really busy pub. So, if a pub is absolutely stowed, say on a match day, there's no danger I'm going into it because you don't know. You could end up no well. Do you know what I mean? So, but listen, people call it scaremongering by the government, but I'm not taking any chances.
Understand. Right, so I'm going 3-1
political there, didn't it?
Jesus, the storage is coming out. I'm going 3-1, folks. 3-1 tomorrow.
3-1. Aye, I think 3-0. I don't see it being.
Where's the goals coming from, Gaz?
Do you know what? Probably midfield. In all honesty, I think. In
case as I said to you, if Rodgers not up for it,
I think probably Turnbull. In all honesty, and I'm going to go for a defender. I think a defender will score the more. I don't know whether it'll be Wilshere, or maybe Joseph will bang one in for 30 yards like he did for Legia in his last game.
What do you think of that? That's a good comment there.
That's a good comment. Possibility. Maybe it's a ploy by Celtic to try and stop us from spending money. Who knows? But
could be.
At the end of the day, we raked in, what was it, something like 50, close to 50 million, and we spent 30 million. So, you've got
but it's gonna affect us if we don't. It's gonna affect us next season. We don't get the Champions League. Like we're looking at a potential pot of 40 million. Now we won't get that straight away. We get majority of that money the following season, but and if we're losing who's our big asset now that we're going to sell? Kyogo, McGregor.
I think you're looking at McGregor, really, aren't you?
Yeah. So like, who's our key asset players now?
Exactly.
Now
the three of them went, didn't they? I wouldn't say Christie was a thing.
I was 17.
Iron and Edward were certainly players that were up there in that kind of racket. Do you know what I mean? As you say, I think McGregor is probably the next big one. If Kyogo has an absolutely brilliant season from when he goes back, Abada's only 19. Ideally, you'd like to see us win the league, get into the Champions League, and
of course,
actually these players to actually stay for at least another season.
But we need the most important thing is we need a middleman between the board and the Ange to get us the right steps way forward, getting the right recruitments. We still don't have a director of football. Was it a case that Dom ignored that question about director of football, and it didn't happen, and we got Gordon Strachan back in some sort of state at the club, and which we haven't seen much of Gordon.
Aye, well, obviously, I think he just got clearance yesterday to work at Celtic. I think that was what the hold up was. So I think officially he probably starts work next week at the club. Although he might be called in for overtime tonight, I don't know. You know what I mean? But listen, who knows? But hopefully we can get a win tomorrow. Then look ahead
We will.
to
We will. I'm confident. Look, as I said, I don't think it's going to be a 6-0. 3 points. We're getting the 3 points tomorrow. And forget about them and forget about the Edinburgh derby on Sunday. At the end of the day, we all think about Celtic. We're going to go in tomorrow, get the results. And
I mean, listen, Hearts and Hibs will collapse. Eventually they will collapse. The wheels will come off. I was just meaning I'm looking forward to the Edinburgh derby as a spectacle. I think it'll be
I'm just hoping Ange can be the manager that can end this Easter Road grudge in the league. Just hope he's the man that can.
God, aye. Well,
seriously,
stat away from home? We've not won away from home since, is it 7-8 months? Am I right in saying that?
Away from home in the league?
I think in the league we haven't won away from home in I don't know how many months.
Jesus, I get that together now. Don't be telling me stats like that. Trying to ruin me Friday. I'm going over a point of Guinness and you're telling me stats like that.
We're not away from home yet, don't worry.
We're unbeaten at home at the moment this season, so we're going to keep that momentum.
That's what you need to focus on.
That's exactly it. Any score is acceptable as long as we get the 3 points. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Right, folks, we're going to leave it there. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that watched. I know there's people in here having the argument about the whole vaccination thing. I can understand that. I know a lot of people are annoyed with the whole departure of Don McCulley. We don't know if it's a board decision or it was a personal decision. We have to go by what the statement says. It was down to family decision or personal circumstances. And if it is, I wish everything's okay with Dom and his family, And I just want to say thank you so far for, thanks for his time at Celtic, You bring Ange in, you got a few players over the line. So there was steps in the right direction, but we'll see what happens with the new lad, and good luck as well to the Celts tomorrow as well. Good luck to everyone as well. I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you all have a great weekend. Don't let this buzz kill you. It's only a decision behind the scenes. At the end of the day, we all think about what's most important is them lads playing football on the pitch and that sexy manager on the sidelines in his name. Big Ange. Big Ange and his grey jumper. And I know you have to say that one he wore at Ibrox, the zipper. I was a big fan of that one now. I'm thinking of dressing up as Ange for Halloween, I am.
I don't think you'll be the only one. I think the Celtic shop will be selling it to them.
I'm going to keep the Ange hair going. Just to dye the beard a little bit and it'll be sorted. That's it. Right. So, folks, if you haven't seen Gaz's page, Gaz is the Celtic Appreciation page on Facebook. Get on it like a car bonnet if you can. He does a good few interviews with former players, people from showbiz. What else, Gaz? Who else are we talking about?
So, obviously messaged Jackie McNamara, trying to get him on the show. Same with John Hart.
But he's busy at the moment with his book.
Aye, he's busy. That's why I'm trying to get him on. There's this guy that's done the Alan Thompson book. I kind of want to get him. I've messaged him and going to get him on in the next few weeks. I'm going to get a hold of the book and see what it's all about. But it's Alan Thompson's biography or autobiography. So that'll be an interesting read to see if there's any gossip about what went on Celtic behind the scenes. So listen, we'll need to see.
You've had Rory Hamilton on as well.
We've had Rory Hamilton on, Fran Alonso, Tom Boyd, Dan Jackson, Rob Douglas, that sort of thing.
I heard there's a Glasgow derby the weekend as well. Is that true?
What's this?
The girls are playing Glasgow City the weekend, I heard.
That's right. I'm not sure if it's on. I'm sure it's on the TV. Maybe BBC Scotland or BBC Alba. I'm sure it's on over the weekend. But great result to win away to Aberdeen last week and get the win 4-2. Gutted about.
Look, I don't. All I care about is just once Jacinta's performing. That's all I care about. That's all I care about, folks. I don't care about anything else. Just once Jacinta's performing. That's all. She's my favourite footballer of all time.
But no, as I say, like aye, so it's do you know it's tough to run the podcast because it's not a professional podcast. It's not like I go into a studio, sit down, record the podcast, and go home. You basically, you're producing it, you're editing it, you're trying to get guests on, you're trying to obviously message people. It is really, really tough. And obviously we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts and whatever else you listen to your podcast. It's trying to get it in the charts. It's trying to get people to leave reviews and leave comments and that sort of thing. But listen, we'll not be up on it anyway.
That's it. Well, we better let Gas go because it looks like his prepaid meter's running out. There's no electricity in the background. So
50p in a meter.
more money than Mr. £1 Craig White. Hopefully. Right, we better just go, folks. I'll be back tomorrow night. Hopefully back tomorrow night. Talk about the game. I'll probably get someone else on. And hopefully it's positive results and hopefully a bit more clarity. It's going to be all rumours for the next few weeks, but we'll see what happens anyway. Take care, folks. I'm off to have a few points of Guinness, so enjoy your night. Take care.